Hi there, it's Kevin with Roguedeckbuilder.com here with another market video, another finance video. I hope you all are not sick of these yet. Born of the Gods is not going to be able to be released on MTGO until the 14th, and then it's going to be a bit before I'm going to be able to acquire all the cards and start brewing those decks. So I thought I'd just kind of switch it up and focus on some market videos and talk about kind of what I get out of MTGO and what I want to see out of MTGO. And this is going to be kind of a ranty video, so I apologize to all those of you that don't like negativity, but this is going to be kind of a, like I said, a ranty negative video. So this one's directed at Wizards because, oh, this software, MTGO, is very frustrating, coming from other games, and I'll show you why. I'll show you some examples in the past. But a little bit of history. I used to play a game called World of Warcraft. I'm sure you've all heard of it. I'm sure most of you have played it. And I kind of like to laugh because I played competitively in Arena Season 2 and 3 before the classes began to get too, in my opinion, overpowered. And it was just a mess. And the game started becoming very redundant. This would have been before Wrath of the Lich King. And the game just became too redundant and too easy and whatnot, but I stuck with the game because I'd already invested quite a bit of time in it, and I really got I started running the auction house. I remember when gold actually meant something in the game, and me and my brother were trying to get the epic flying mounts because they were so fast, and they were, I believe, at the time they were 5,000 gold, and that was quite a bit. It was quite a bit to save up to that. And we tried to find the best place in the entire World of Warcraft to go grind out the gold. And then I stumbled upon the auction house and just thought, why can't I just work the auction house and get them out? So I started learning. I started Googling auction house tricks and tactics and started following them and started finding my own little niches. And we were able to get 2 mounts out of my being able to buy and sell on the auction house on World of Warcraft. And this kind of became addictive. I mean, I loved it. I just loved actually just working the whole market side of the game. And so during Wrath of the Lich King, I like to joke that I didn't play World of Warcraft. I played World of Auction House Craft. And that's basically all of my characters were maxed out in professions and sat in the Ironforge auction house and barely ever moved from there, from the bank of Ironforge to the auction house in Ironforge. And I would just sit there. And before I'd go to work and after I'd come home from work, I would repost auctions and just completely run the auction house. Well, anyway, at the time when I quit World of Warcraft, and that's a story for another day, I've got the most pathetic World of Warcraft story you'll ever hear. And like I said, if you can PM me about it, it involves a girl. Anyway, so when I rage quit World of Warcraft, I was sitting on about $8,000 USD. If I would have been able to sell my account, I had around 2 million gold and the price of my characters. The account was worth around $8,000. And so I had essentially broken World of Warcraft. I basically found out a way to actually be insanely profitable, insanely lucrative. At one point, I controlled so much of the auction house. And it was just really fun. Like, I wasn't oppressive. I wasn't doing anything I would say even illegal, but I mean the way that I made most of my money on World of Warcraft is a very savvy auction house person, and I was able to look at the patch notes and really decide what items were going to go up in value. Or you just look at the day, a new raid would come out and you'd see a certain item would have a certain amount of sockets, and that's how I made the majority of my money was on gems. Like I said, a lot of this is going to be speaking another language to you that haven't played World of Warcraft, but it was speculation that made most of my money, and just smart moves. I think it was Tuesday, I can't remember now, it's been years, that you could cash in your arena points. One of the days I think that you got your rewards, and so every Tuesday there'd be a huge increase in the value of a certain item, and that's when I'd put them up on the auction house. So I'd buy during the rest of the week and put them up on that day. And anyway, so the cool thing about that is that skill has been able to translate over to Magic the Gathering. Unfortunately, in Paper Magic, we have eBay We have TCG Player. We have a few other outlets like Card Shark that charge huge cuts that are really, really hard for the layman. I mean, by the time you send postage and the time that those eBay or TCG Player take their cuts, profit margins are very, very slim. On World of Warcraft, I worked on a very, 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 very small profit margin throughout the week, and then I'd make huge profit margins on patch days. And the same can be said with Magic the Gathering. I made most of my money on like rotation days, like when a new deck comes out and being able to have those cards spike. Like if I had invested in Blitter Blossoms, I would have made a ton of money. And that would have been kind of the similar to patch notes, figuring out Bitter Blossom would be unbanned and investing right then, and then turning over for a profit. Anyway, that's the whole theory behind it. But the thing about World of Warcraft is we had an auction house that was very, very, very easy to run, very convenient. Now, I'm hoping that eventually we get there with MTGO, because right now we have this archaic software on MTGO that is very, very, very difficult to buy, sell, and trade. Now, the problem with MTGO is it's riddled with bots, and let me show you that. You go over to classifieds, and this is the only way you can actually find cards. So here's the classifieds. You have to sift through endless amounts of godforsaken bots that are not in the best interest of the players. Now, bots do some little cheaty tactics. There was a new MTGO player that was very frustrated because he had all his cards up for trade, and he just wanted to trade one card. And I've had this mistake before, and this is how bots like prey on new players. So they'll like take one of these bots, for example. They'll be like buying this ensnaring bridge for 8.2. So I'm like, oh cool, I got an ensnaring bridge. I'm going to sell the ensnaring bridge for 8.2. So you go to this bot and you trade him, and they start taking all these other cards from your set, and you're like, oh well, he's giving me a good price for ensnaring bridge. That's probably a good price for this other card. And when it's not, like I've had a lot of people. I think there was a screenshot on Reddit a while back being, I never knew Snapcaster Mage was 0.05 of a ticket, and that's because the bot was trying to pay, that much. So they try to get you, kind of like this bait and switch tactic where they're like, hey, you've got this card, can I buy the rest of these cards? And they'll have, like I said, insanely low prices. And that's how one of the kind of the cheaty tactics these bots use to prey on the average Magic player. And another thing is, it's just the only way that's convenient is to actually deal with bots. So a lot of times they can screw you over that way. So I mean, say this bot's probably buying Scalding Target for 20.5. They're selling it for probably 24, and it's very, very hard to find a buyer. I found a couple of tricks and tactics to actually buy and sell on MTG. I'll bring this down here so you can look at this search bar. But you can come up to this. Well, now I say that, it's not even let me click on this. Oh, there we go. So you can search here, and one of my things that I do, I say human, but now bots have caught on to that, and bots are calling themselves humans too. So you say human selling, and you can look at all the humans, like Stormbird Dragon for 15 tickets. That's probably better than you can get the tickets from a bot. And you can scroll through all the human listings. The problem with this still is it's a pain in the butt to just scroll through all this amount of just garbage that you don't even want to scroll through. And classifieds are the only way that we can well, and then you can try to, I don't know how else, in the chat, and the chat is terrible on MTGO to try to find people to buy and sell. I mean, there is no like direct channel that just, and in fact, if you are in like a regular tournament channel, like in the, let's go to, a lot of people hang out in this schedule events, we'll say, and they have this little chat bar. If you were to say buying a certain card, one of these orcs here would yell at you and say, get off the channel, this isn't for buying and selling. So MTGO is it is not in the interest of the player. It is in the interest of the bot that then hoard cards, and then they can kind of stranglehold the marketplace. Yes, they do compete with each other, which is good because that keeps prices down. But as a little guy, you're always on the losing end of the trade. You're gonna have to sell to the bots low and buy from the bots at high. And if we had an auction house, it would completely level the playing field. Yes, the bots probably would have some automated software that they'd be able to pre-program to buy certain cards at a certain price. But what would happen with the auction house is the prices would stabilize very quickly. Like they would go up and down, but then they would also stabilize to a market price very, very quickly. But the thing is, if we had an auction house, that is the way I would, like, I get a lot of questions, how do you go infinite on MTGO? You don't. It takes too long. Even Batutina here, he's always on. This guy right here, he's Brazilian. He's really, really good. I would say he's top 5 here on MTGO. This guy is always on, and I highly doubt he actually makes a good wage. It might be good for Brazil, but even just by playing in this ungodly amounts of tournaments here on MTGO, it just takes too much time to quote unquote go infinite to make it actually lucrative for your time. Now, an auction house would be the exact opposite. It'd give me an outlet to kind of do the same thing that I do with World of Warcraft. Now I'm going to pull up a few other programs. I've been playing a lot of Dota 2. And this is what really got me sick of MTGO and how long they've had to fix this problem, how many requests. I think that out of all there's been some list compiled of everything, all the suggestions for MTGO. Hell, MTGO actually asked what suggestions you have to better our software. And one of the things that comes up all the times is an auction house. Now, they could even take like a 2% or a 5% cut on the auction house, and it'd still be worth time. And Wizards can make an insane amount of money on all those transactions, all those buyings and sellings. Of course, they'd have to use another currency besides tickets, because tickets round out at $1. They'd have to make some sort of planeswalker gold or something like that actually goes to the cent, not to the dollar, to be able to trade well. But I mean, that even wouldn't be a hard fix. You could then convert into tickets or booster packs from their own site. And I mean, Steam has it. It's just Steam dollars. And I'm going to show you that right now. I'm going to log on to Dota. I've been playing a lot of Dota lately. That's one of the reasons why I haven't been doing a lot of videos, because, man, I finally have a computer, and I kind of feel guilty because it was you, the MTGO community, that bought playmats to fund this computer, and now I'm spending it to play Dota. So I'm going to quit playing Dota, all right? I'll focus back on the channel and whatnot and go from there. But anyway, even they have like a great auction house on Steam, and we need that. And I hope that Wizards sees this video. I hope you guys can share it with them. We need a damn auction house. I mean, enough is enough. We've waited forever, over 10 years, for them to fix this software, and they still haven't. And these bots are very oppressive. I think they're a net bad, not a net good. Yes, they hoard cards like crazy, but it's hard. This should be in the interest of the players, not in an interest of someone that sits behind a desk all day and buys and sells. And yes, I mean, it would still be in the advantage of a person to do that, but it would level the playing field. Someone that just plays MTGO for a couple hours a day has the exact same power to buy and sell that a huge bot does. And that's my problem with not having an auction house and having to use these classifieds. See, the problem is also you have to expend these bots aren't the easiest to program, and you have to have a computer that usually runs at the most of the day. And what they do is they have this bot software that scans prices all day long, and they adjust their prices accordingly because they don't want to get caught on like a huge drop or a huge spike. So see, Bitter Blossom spikes at 75 and they're still selling at 20. If they're not updating their software every few hours, they lose that, and then they'll get sold out of their Bitter Blossoms at 25, and they lose all that potential. So these softwares, and the layperson cannot do this. I've looked into it. It's not feasible for me as an individual to invest money on bot software, to invest money on another computer, to invest money on calibrating the bot software perfectly to do this. I mean, these are companies. These are actual companies that are doing this crap. And it is not cool. It is not good for the game when it strangleholds all of the value, all the profit into these companies. So anyway, that's my rant. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you some examples. I'm going to show you right now just the Steam. This is Dota. I've made money on Dota already by selling their garbage items that, I don't care about the aesthetic look. And so you get items in Dota. And we can even show you there. I'm not the biggest fan of their auction house, but it's even better than this. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and we're going to open up the Steam. Alrighty, so here I am in my Dota 2. These are all the items you get from Dota 2, and just from playing games. And I'm going to show you their auction house here, because I'm going to sell a bunch of these. These things I'm going to open these, and I don't know if this event's still going on, but these have been selling pretty good. These Ingnuts, and Yeah. So we're gonna. So anyway, so once you get a new item on, there's non-tradable and tradable items that you can actually sell on Dota 2. But I mean, this is just something. This again, I'm showing this as an example as what Magic the Gathering can even do. So you can go to this, and you can see this pile of flame salt ingots. They're used to actually buy weapons in this new event that just came out. So anyway, what happens is you can go to sell an item, and it comes to this community market, and it shows all the things that I have up for sale and whatnot. And I'm going to go ahead and sell an item, and it comes up to all the stuff that are available to sell. And I'm going to sell these piles, the pile of flame salt ingots. So it'll come here and it'll say, hey, these are all the ones that have sold, and so they've been selling for like 25 cents. So I just want to get rid of these. So I'm going to sell these for 19 cents. And I'll put this up for sale. And so it's just like a little, if Magic the Gathering had something like this is even on Steam. I think if MTGO were to happen, I know Duel of Planeswalkers is already on Steam. If MTGO would convert over to Steam, I'm sure that Steam would put enough pressure on Wizards to actually do this, to where you can actually sell your items on the Steam server. Now, the problem with Steam, though, is I don't know how you actually can convert Steam dollars into real dollars, how you can actually cash out, because I think that they don't allow you to, because I'm sure they would have tax. And maybe that's why MTGO hasn't done any sort of auction house, because of tax reasons, and just that whole the whole problem with that. It's kind of uncharted territories with the actual company hosting the currency. See, what happened with World of Warcraft is it was illegal to sell stuff outside of the actual game, but people did anyways. And with MTGO, it's not, though. You can still sell. It's perfectly legal to sell your digital items, because they actually do hold value, and you can redeem them into actual paper cards. So anyway, it's just very easy, very, very, very easy to sell these things on the auction house here on Steam. I mean, it's of course on Steam you don't make a lot. I mean, I've made like $2 or $3 or something just selling these items that I could care less about, because like I said, I don't care about the aesthetics parts of Dota. And I've found some little. I think the one that I sold for the most was $1. It was a weapon or something like that, and it's cool though. I mean, eventually I'll be able to buy Duel of the Planeswalkers 2015 on just Dota garbage that I don't care about. And this is good. This is beneficial for the person that actually wants these handful of flame salt ingots. I'm selling it for very, very cheap. I'm not a bot that's going to try to rip them off. And I want the money here, so. You can just go through and settle. So if this was, just put this in perspective, these were cards on MTGO, and you just sold them even like this, and then you can look at all the ones that you were able to put up on the auction house. The only problem I have with Steam is it's a little bit clunky. This auction house is when trying to actually search for stuff. You kind of have to know the name of it. Like what I'd like to see on MTGO is just a auction house that kind of works like their deck building software, where you can just search. And then you can find all the lists of all the people that are selling a certain item and whatnot. If they choose to give us, what's cool about this software here on Steam is it's shown how much these have actually sold for in the past couple of days. So it said there's been 4,000 of these sold for 13 cents. And so you can beat this price and put it up for 10 cents a piece. And it gives you kind of like a good estimated value of how much it's worth to sell it. Like I said, it's in the best interest for Steam for you to sell items, because they're getting a cut, and it's just a little teeny cut. And it'd be the same thing for MTGO if they were to do that. I don't know why Wizards has not done this yet. It is just so lucrative for them. They'd be making a killing on this. It helped me, the little guy. I wouldn't have to go through bots and go through the nonsense of the classifieds, and I could actually work the auctions, kind of go infinite on MTGO. Always have the cards that I need and whatnot. That's my problem. We'll go back over to the MTGO now, and I'll show you exactly what I mean with Stony Silences. I'll show you some of my spec targets. All right, so back on MTGO, I've got the Stony Silences, and right now they're at about $1.25. I bought them at 0.04 of a ticket, so basically 20. I'd say we're going to just round off. It's 25 for one, but sometimes I think it averaged out. Let's just say I bought these for 10 for one ticket. So I've made, and now they're up to $1.25. So I've made over 1,000 times my profit here on these Stony Silences. But the problem is actually going to find a buyer now, and because I have to go through these pretty messy bots again. So I'm going to go back over to classifieds, and I'll show you exactly why I have an issue with this, because it's going to be very hard for me to find a buyer for such a low card. So this one is selling these for $1.27. This MTGO Traders bot. This is one of the main bots here, but no one's really buying them here. See, selling, $1.27 Stony Silences. So I'm gonna go ahead and see this MTGO Traders bot is selling for a $1.27. I'm gonna put one up for trade, and we're gonna go to an MTGO Traders bot and see if they'll actually buy one. I don't know if these bots even do buy them. And there you go. There's another problem with these popular bots, is they're always busy. So let's see if this one. But a lot of them, what you do is then how you actually trade on here is you then they'll have little instructions when you open it up. This little chat thing will be up, and see if there's a way to sell. I don't think there is on. I think it's a MTGO selling bot or something. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I have to find a bot that's actually buying cards, and I don't even know. Let's see. The standard card buying bot. You'd have to find one. There again. See. I found where to buy a Stony Silence. I just haven't found where to sell a Stony Silence. So there's a huge problem right there, and is just for the layperson too. And I'm like I would say that I'm way even more than a novice. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and it is still difficult for me to actually even sell Stony Silences. So you'd have to find a buyer, and then if they'd want to actually buy that many, if I was there's an auction house, I could just go ahead, chuck these 257 copies up for even $1, and I made insane profits. And I could do that with all of my cards that I've spec'd hard on. Another one is Obstinate Baloth, other than I think this guy's going to go down now. I spec'd him about 25 cents a piece, so 4 for $1, 4 for a ticket, and I'm not even sure how much they're worth. But again, finding an actual buyer for this Obstinate Baloth is pretty tough. Look, no one's even looking for it on the classifieds and whatnot. So that's my issue. It's a very easy fix, Wizards. That is my wish out of anything. I don't care any sparkly new little technology you put on MTGO. This is what I want more than anything. It helped me as a player. It helped me get rid of, even as a drafter. If I was just a drafter, it gave me easier ways to get rid of my excess draft cards rather than go through a bot that's just going to screw me over on the commons and uncommons and whatnot. Anyway, this has been Kevin with Roguedeckbuilder.com. I know this video is a little bit ranty. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching.